I'll need to welcome you, and it's now time we go straight to the dailies and see what they have as a major one on their front page. And for review today, we have 6 papers. We have the Vanguard as much as the Punch. We definitely have the Daily Sun, the Daily Trust, the Nation, and these days we'll be wrapping things up. But you do know, I always enjoy starting with the Punch, and let's see what the Punch has as a major one. On the Punch this morning, the leading story reads, Tinubu APC governors move to fix campaign list crisis. Right as to follow, Tinubu governors, APC heavyweights hold 2-day strategic meeting in Aso Rock. APC may drop controversial chieftain as PCC list undergoes review, and APC plans more social interventions ahead of the 2027 poll after $1.5 billion move. Well, anyway, I'll just tell you to get more of that story up on page 2. But let's see if we'll take more of that story still on the front page of the Punch. WAEC results. Crisis worsen as official alleged irregularities and glitches. Well, anyway, don't glitch on that, but get a copy of it on page 25. APC, that's 2027. APC opposition class federal government $1 billion household palliative. As opposition alleges federal government 2027 vote buying strategy. Well, anyway, strategize on that one and get it more on page 2. Federal government states targets cheaper transport fares with CNG bus rollout. It's also on page 2. Suspected drug foil on those speakers impeachment. And you can get that up on page 26. And suspected thugs rather foil on those speakers impeachment. And you can get that on page 26. And well, anyway, the picture of the day is that of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu during a meeting with APC governors at the presidential villa in Abuja on Wednesday. And well, you know, they have a whole lot of planning, especially as it concerns the list that seems to be giving a lot of persons issues as it concerns the party. Well, anyway, that's much we can take from the Punch. Let's quickly run to the Nation to see what the Nation has as a major one. And on the Nation newspaper this morning, federal government states to cut transportation costs from October 1st. Using CNG, we have agreed that cheaper fuel should result in cheaper fares, and this is accredited to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. But I'll tell you to get more of that story up on page 2. Lawyers decry poor planning, choice of guests at the NBA confab. Well, all of this is from the issue of a very dark man and how he criticized not only the Nigerian Bar Association, but the Nigerian police, and alleged that they were part of a kidnapping syndicate. But anyway, get more of that views on page 4. Nigerian stock market gets global upgrade is a beautiful one as FTSE rates Nigerian higher. And higher we go, but get it up on page 2. Tinubu orders football reform as NFF president resigns, and many football fans and lovers are indeed happy about that, knowing that in all major international and continental engagement, we did not qualify. Quite disturbing. Page 21 has that story. China imports $2.3 billion goods from Nigeria in first half of the year, which is also a cheery one. And 668,000 meters installed to end estimated billing. And well, are they still not billing? Well, anyway, grab a copy of it on page 8. Talk stall on those speaker sack is also making a round on page 5. But let's see others, especially as we x-ray on the Nation. NEC OK's modernization on interest rates. Target is acceleration of growth in agric, non-trade service. And you can service yourself on that on page 2. Council of Legal Education accuses varsities of violating law admission quota. Is also making the rounds on page 4. But the picture of the day is still the strategic meeting of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and APC governors as they push towards the 2027 general election. Well, that's what you can take from the Nation. Let's quickly go to something we can trust, and that is Daily Trust. Well, anyway, a paper indeed. Tinubu promises cheaper transport October. I can't wait. Subsidy or no subsidy. Well, that's what he's saying. But I'll tell you to get more of that copy up and read it up on page 2. 6 traders killed as vehicle rams into market in Taraba. It's a quite disturbing one, also on page 6. Stop bloodshed in North. Opposition lawmakers tells Tinubu. And indeed, everybody seems to be crying about that on page 17, especially with the recent adoption and killing in Niger State. 5 local governments. Wow, quite disturbing. Hurdles before National Assembly leaders is also making the round on page 17. But let's see if we take some other leading ones. Trouble in Nigerian football as NFF president orders resign. I will say hooray to that, but you can get that on page 5 and 6. But the picture of the day is armed, being shown by a bandits gang by the Kaduna State Police Command, that they got them along the Abuja-Kaduna road. And, you know, that road has become a recent nightmare to many motorists. And I'm really happy that those bandits have been caught and arms, or rather they have been disarmed. Well, let's see if Nigerians will ply that, or commuters will ply that route without having any series of fear. But anyway, no fear here. We're still looking at the papers. The Daily Sun would take center stage next. And on the Daily Sun this morning, 2027 battle lines drawn as Tinubu APC governors meet as Atiku will be marking the Duke Perfect Alliance August 31st. 6 parties open talks on common front as G100. First question not who leads presidential tickets, and negotiating teams, 5 working groups on table. But I'll tell you to table more of that gist on page 6 of the Daily Sun. Yeah, let's see if we take some other leading stories still on the Daily Sun. Enough of the bloodshed, bishops. Pentecostal Fellowship of Nigeria laments. Killing adoptions now intolerable, says CBCN. You can't build future on tears of innocent people. Christians rally for adopted Muslim worshippers, and IGP deploys AIG anti-terror squad air wing for rescue. But you can get more of that rescue move on page 6. Subsidy saving, government reject accountability blame, offer CNG as answer to hardship, move to cut transport fares and put food prices. Well, those are the 2 leading things that seems to be rubbing up on our pocket. But get that story up on page 6. 1,638 military police widows get 819 million naira RHI support, which will be good on page 4. And now for football failures, according to President Tinubu, says structural defects behind Nigerian present failures, lament poor returns despite huge public support, investment, and NSC, NFF to engage FIFA, CAF on reforms. But get that story up on page 13. Abia at 35, Chidoka commends Orji Kalu for role in state development, says Senator puts Abia family in national conversation. And you can get more of that on page 28. Reports, Nigerian pay 12 billion naira ransom as kidnapping feeds terror network. As 1,142 killed, 7,825 people adopted in 11 months. And we know Boko Haram seems to be leading the chart with those that have aimed more as a concern ransom for kidnapping. But the picture of the day is more of a double header, but all that really transpired yesterday. And we're talking about the meeting between President Bola Ahmed Tinubu and no other, but governors of the APC states yesterday as they strategized on how to do things better. And also we saw the National Economic Council meeting also held in Abuja, and you can see some of the ministers right there. And Taiwo Oyodele shaking hands with no other but the vice president himself. Well, that's the much you can take from the Daily Sun. This day will take center stage next, right here on the People Review. FTSE Russell restores Nigeria to frontier market status after 3 years exit. Well, it shows the reforms of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is really working. Just some few riders to follow. Oyedele economic remains stable, growth to exceed 4% in 2026 as NEC move to cut high interest rate, which many will say is right. Capital market operators welcome reclassification. Well, a cheering one for the economic part of the country, but I'll tell you to get more of that details right there on this day newspaper on page 5. First Lady RHI disbursed 819 million naira grant to 1,638 widows of fallen military and police personnel. Really, really commendable. I'll get that story up on page 3. ADC, Tinubu's $1 billion social fund panic reaction to Atiku subsidy plan. That's what they are saying. Party says president has lost Nigerians, can't buy them back. Alleged initiative could be vote buying program, and ex-VP queries disbursement of 600 million naira or 600 billion naira to 10 million households. But anyway, don't go way too long, but get a copy of this day and read it up on page 8. And yes, let's see if we take some other leading stories. still on this day. Well, looks as if that's all we can get. But we can still get local content visit Asu Rock. We're talking about the president of the Senate right there, Godswill Akpabio, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and Chairman, Senate Committee on Local Content, Joel Onowakpo. Thomas, he's from Delta State, doing a visit to the villa, and that happened just yesterday. Well, anyway, that's the much we can take from this day. Let's run to the last paper, and that is the Vanguard newspaper. Out of the Vanguard this morning, the lead story reads, Tinubu directs comprehensive football reform. We're still talking about NFF board resignation. I stepped down for love of country, said Guzo. Confirms Vanguard report. Guzo orders should be probed, says Akena. Destruction of Nigerian football shameful, says Owolabi. His resignation proves or provides opportunity for thorough cleanup, says Adebimi. And Bako points way forward, warns against recycling their mentors. And Nigerian Sport Commission split over choice of modernization committee chair. Well, anyway, get more of that detail. Many will say it's the right one on page 10. And let's see if it takes some others. 756 cases in 7 months. Experts seek tougher action against Nigerian sexual violence. Quite disturbing. Are we having a rate of that high now? But anyway, get more of it on page 19. Nigeria's economy stabilized, says National Executive Council on page 33. 2027 Peace Accord. Desperate politicians can't be trusted, says Civil Society Organization on page 9. Fuel hike. Labour CSO accused federal government operators of gang up and exploitation. Decry regulatory failure. Consumer Protection Agency orders need to protect Nigerians now, says Sedlak. And why fuel price is high. I'm not saying so, but Ipman will be giving us all that details on page 5. 14 billion naira road contract. Umahi fumes, orders arrest of Heartland MD on page 12. Flood, federal government alerts 915 communities and 19 states at critical risks. Sorry, Delta State seems to be a part of it. We just hope all is well. Page 8 has more of that story. Crude oil imports hits 2.39 metric tons across Lagos ports in August. It's also a major one on page 14. But let me see if we take Mr. and Mrs. column. And Mrs. Oh, wow, she's giving Mr. a hard one there. Your football club did not win the premiership. Don't be sad. You are the man of my city. So let's be united to build a Newcastle. Come. I've prepared soft liver in a pool of delicious sauce for you and a bottle of Chelsea to wash it down. Mr. says, thank you, dear. You are forever, or you ever remain my Arsenal. Well, anyway, I hope they win the league. But anyway, they are defending champions. But the picture of the day is that of a visit of Nigerian content, and just like it was on the front page of this day, it's also making the round on the Vanguard. Well, that's what we can do, or rather take on the dailies this lovely morning. I will always ensure you, and will rather encourage you to go grab a copy of any paper that seems to catch your fancy, especially as it concerns the stories, and read up and get more informed, because information will definitely remove that mindset of being deformed. But I'll tell you, don't do that now. Wait, dialogue will take center stage next right here on Viewpoint on Atlantic TV.